Alright, looks like we're live. Okay. Google is shutting down Stadia. What the heck is Stadia? Hold up. Let me see if I can adjust this. No, I guess that's gonna be good enough. Alright. Refunding all. What the heck is Stadia? Oh, cloud gaming service. Interesting. Interesting. Launched a consumer gaming service. I'm guessing that you can play whatever game you want on the cloud. I think that's pretty much what the service is, but I don't know. After a number of games released, the platform slowed and the company shuttered its in-house game development studios. Hey Justin, what's up? Microsoft heavily investing in cloud gaming, declined to comment. Nvidia, okay. Cloud gaming service. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this one. I just don't think cloud gaming in general is a thing. Substack is hiring data analysts to build a future for writing. Interesting. I think Substack is actually quite a good platform. The problem right now is that there's just so many people who use it and just kind of churn out mindless newsletters. The thing is that if you have something new to say every single week, is just what effort, or I should say, what is the quality of information that you're giving out? Is it just rehashes of things that exist or something? So, I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced that every single thing on Substack is worth it, but I do think that Substack is a very good platform. So let's actually see. I'm kind of curious, like, what's the source? They come with this $9 million worth of revenue. Given the popularity of Substack, I would expect it to be more. Substack drops, market soars. The ballyhoo permit writers. Held discussions for potential are raising $75 to $100 million worth of growth. Company between 750 million and 1 billion. What's their gross revenue? Yeah, Substack is hiring during. Okay, so raised at least 86 million. Go years. Andreessen Horowitz they gave away 10% of the company for 65 mil. Okay, so last year is $9 million. I would bet right now, if I had to guess, I had to put a number on it, I think Substack is probably making upwards of 20 mil. Like probably somewhere between 10 to 12, 20 mil for the revenue, if I had to guess. But I'm not quite sure if it goes beyond that. One of the interesting parts about Substack, if you think about it, it's basically tied to the creator economy because you're basically monetizing the ability to send out newsletters and blog posts. So, and it looks like it got boosted by COVID. So, I'm on. I would say as far as the platform, like I said, it's very good, but I don't know if you can justify $1 billion valuation on that. Because if I had to guess 10 to $20 billion top, 10 to 20 million top line, you're paying 50x top line just for a company. I don't think that it's worth $1 billion. I don't even think it's worth. I don't know if it's even worth 650. So I'm actually not quite sure. I'm not convinced. Actually, let me see. Substack. Let me see. Is there anything else? Oh, wow. I pegged that number. Holy crap. I actually pegged it right on the nose. Seriously. Wait. 20. Substack told Axios late last year that the top 10 writers on the platform collectively generated 20 million in annual revenue. Okay, so the top 10 writers collected 20 million. Okay, Substack itself did not. According to Times, Substack separately told investors that it saw the revenue of just 9 million last year. Okay, so they themselves did not collect 20 million this year. They collected the last top 10 writers collected 20 million. Okay. Yeah, that's not a lot of valuation for. That's not a revenue for a company boasting 650 million. Yeah, I don't think so either. Other writers discovered the economics aren't compelling or simply burn out. Yeah. So if we did like some, what's it called, some basic math, and we assume Substack takes like, uh, let's say 10% of the revenue generated, they will basically get, they basically get 10 times this. Let's say, so in other words, out of all the writers on Substack, they would generate 90 million. The top 10 generate 20 million, which is actually fucking insane. If you consider that maybe there's probably, let's say like there's I don't know, 100,000. So in other words, like only the top 10, top 0.001% generate like 20%, 20 to 30% of the revenue, which is in line if you model it like writers in general, like the top 1% of writers get 99% of the revenue. I think the what's called this Substack will actually be exactly the same thing. So I'm not entirely convinced that this is a viable model going forward. I think actually you might start capping out because most people, there will be like high churn. I remember like there's this small company way back in the day, I think 10 years ago, called Viewshound, and it would award writers like money for as long as they wrote, and then they placed in a contest for writing. And this kind of reminds me of that, except more of a, hey, whatever you monetize, we take a percent cut of it. And that platform folded like 3 years ago, with 3 years since founding. So this one, I'm not convinced that this is going to grow as much as people say they are. You basically need to capture more talented writers on the top end in order to generate revenue, and then you'll bring up the next 99% of people who want to be just like the top writers. So in other words, the top creators are driving all this, and eventually there's going to be some churn, right? Because not everyone who writes is going to stay in the field. So eventually those authors, get retired or whatnot. Very few writers would go on to stay on your platform. So if you look like authors, there are some like David Baldacci, Dean Koontz, Stephen King, who continually put out novels every 2-3 years. But I suspect that with newsletters, you have to keep writing every single week. You have to have something new to say every single week, and eventually you run out of shit to say. So I'm not entirely convinced that Substack at a $20 million annual revenue is worth 65 million, 650 million. I think that actually the most it can ever get to is 50 million annual revenue. That's the most, which might put it at billion, and at that point it would probably what? Let's say we give it like technology company 20x. Let's say 20-30x. And I said what? It would be like about like 50 million. Yeah. You basically get to a $1 billion valuation. That's the most you're ever going to get from this. So there's like, I would say there's no room for growth as far as market cap for this particular company. That's just like off the top of my head math. I don't think I would pay 650 million. I would think that it was worth at only like 3 or 4 if this is the numbers we're going with. That's just my take on it. Yeah, I think that they're basically taking the last 2 years and drawing a line through it, saying, "Oh, we tripled, we nearly tripled from year over year." So they're extrapolating that we're gonna triple again. I don't think so. You can so if for people who want to do the actual homework, basically that's how I explain how you do the valuation. Model it as if you're modeling the book industry, like the authors and distribution, and then you can pretty much roughly guess how much this company is worth. Anyway, let's see what else is on TechCrunch. Actually, Let's see what's on Wall Street Journal. I think I'm signed into my account. Oh God, no. Let me turn off the ads on this one. Alright, let me sign. Actually, am I signed into Wall Street Journal? I guess not. Maybe next time. Let's see what TechCrunch has. Cringiest revelations from Elon Musk tech dump. Meta will freeze hiring and cut costs. I'm not interested in crypto. Fund laying off 30% of its workers. GV. Google Lab pay-as-you-go option. Premium GPU access. Interesting. Is this like some AWS competitor? It could be. I actually wouldn't mind that. I think definitely AWS. Like the way I see AWS, it's fucking fantastic. It's a fantastic business because if you start looking underneath the hood of who relies on it, it's a shit ton of companies, and it's because they basically handle the hardware scalability factor, which very very few companies can afford to do. The capital costs of AWS to create even a similar service is its own moat. And not to mention, that's before you factor in things like the technical expertise to being able to manage that. So in effect, AWS is nearly a monopoly. Not to mention, once you're on it, you kind of don't want to get off of it because there's so much native integration with it already in the ecosystem. So you not only have the high capital costs as the requirement, but you also have the network effect as well. I think anyone who thinks AWS is a bad business is pretty crazy. Then again, how much would I pay for it? I don't know. I think if you look at the Amazon 10K, which I have on my shelf somewhere, basically almost all their money goes back to capital expenditures, and I would bet most of it goes into maintaining AWS. Although the one thing I will say is that I think it does scale. It scales well, but I think for every dollar that you get, I think you have to spend 25 cents of it on replacing your hardware and hiring better engineers. That's what I'm going to say about it. But I need to double check the numbers. Twitter's adding a new TikTok. No, everyone wants to be TikTok. No, this is why I don't touch ad tech or social media because of this. Everyone just tries to. No one really comes up with anything unique. Everyone just copies it from each other, and then just fighting for the same group of audience and attention. Not to mention, I don't think it's a good idea for everyone to spend their time on social media. InsurTech market is far from dead. So what, Lemonade? I don't know. So interestingly, let's see what they have to say. Metromile, about $1 billion. Lemonade acquired less than 145 mil. What time is exact? Price matter price. Blah blah blah. B2B, investor B2B, InsurTech, recurring revenue model. Okay. The thing about insurance is that the way it works roughly, and I'm going to go through this really quickly, is that you receive money, and then you expect some percentage of that money to go back to paying claims, right? And how much you pay back is based on whatever the risk model that you have. And so for you could be like ultra safe like Geico, where it's like, oh, we only write insurance premiums for really quality customers, and therefore our payout is very, very low. But then you write very, very low amount of volume because there's only so many people with good enough, standing credit and risks, and what have you. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where people just write as much volume as they can because, they can. But the thing is that your risk and loss factor become higher and higher, and then you have these unexpected losses because you might have ended up mismeasuring your risks. And so basically, I see like AI as a way of trying to mine at least in InsurTech, it's a way to mine the cracks in the system, but it also is a very big unknown because you don't know what kind of risk factor you're taking on. So for instance, like you might judge, you're basically betting on the algorithm finding quality customers. And I don't know, I've seen that before, I don't like it. I think Was it State Farm that did that in 2012 or something? Or was it? It might have been Allstate or State Farm. I can't remember. I think it was Allstate. They tried that and it didn't go over so well. I think that Warren Buffett made a passing comment on it in like the 2011 or 2012 or 2013 Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholders meeting. Anyway, let's bring on my client and see what's up. Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Edward, how's it going?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Good, man.
All right, cool. Yeah. So catch me up on everything. How did preparing for your behavioral interview go? And did you make any progress on the LeetCode stuff?
Yeah. So on the behavioral stuff, I did write out some stories. So yeah, that's been going well. So I have about 6-7 stories for that. So I wrote like the 20-second summary, and then on top I wrote like some bullet points to quickly think about it, and I can fill in the details as I go.
Yep.
For the LeetCode problem, I did it on Wednesday again. I attempted that problem. So from there, I after watching the analysis, I wrote down all the mistakes, and I updated my approach doc for that as well.
Yeah.
So for that, I got close to a solution, but I didn't get to a full running one.
Okay.
But yeah, I did manage to avoid the mistake that I did Tuesday. So yeah, still working on that one though. So
okay. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. First, let me see your stories. Can you paste them in the prep doc?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So right there where your cursor is. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go.
All right. So okay. So I see. Got it. Within a week of me joining the team, an acquisition had been made. An acquisition had been accomplished. Okay. I'm gonna say don't use passive voice. It adds too many words.
Okay.
There and a majority of the team left the company. Yeah, you could have just said within a week of me joining the company, there was an acquisition.
Okay.
It says exactly, and then there was an acquisition, and the team was laid off or left the company, or something like that. You know, it's like within 30 seconds, every word you say counts, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure you get to a point where you want to get the idea down. That's what 30 seconds, right? And the rest are details. This isn't like a college essay where you're trying to write a 2,000-3,000 word essay. No. This ain't that. This is literally get it as simple as possible.
Okay.
So you join the team with okay. And then my next question is, why is this $100 million annual recurring revenue important?
Because if you have no team, then that's gonna go down, right? And it's bad for the business and.
Oh, of course, everyone knows it's bad for business if the thing you acquire goes to shit. Is that did that really need to be put into $100 million revenue?
No, we can leave it out.
Yeah, like even if let's say the company, let's say I made $1 billion. It's like the team was worth $1 billion annual recurring revenue. Does that change anything?
Okay.
Now if it was like 2 million, like okay, that's an extreme end, right? 2 million on a $1 billion company, no one gives a shit. But this is like I don't understand this. Okay, I think I'm starting to understand. I know where this is coming from. I think people really confuse business case for business. So you think adding, there's a nice shiny number, like in terms of dollars, that says how important this is. No. No, you're thinking it the other way around. You use this number to justify the importance of the action itself after the action, not the other way around.
Okay.
So it's like, I want to say whatever I'm doing is important. I want to see if let's say I do action X. Action X is going to save $100 million every year for the company. That's great. That's going to justify it. But if all I'm doing is just like toggling a flag on and off, that's not exactly great. I don't care if it saves me $100 million revenue just by turning a flag on and off. That's still junior level work. You see what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
This is like the cream on top. This isn't the substance itself.
Okay.
So I took over the majority of the team responsibility, make sure things run smoothly. Okay. Responsible for maintaining current functionality as well. as adding new features, responsible for the interview lifecycle, and mentoring hard. As a result of increasing expectations, and keep increasing. Okay, yeah. So you took over majority of the team responsibilities, and so you could just say you are a technical lead,
Okay.
or act as like a technical lead and manager of the team.
Okay. Yeah, that's more. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, like I said, every word you said counts. Make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck here. And so the simple sentences are the best. I would maintain current functionality as well as adding new features. Okay, yeah, but then the question now becomes, okay, how complex were these features? What was the complexity with the current functionality? And I would say that in this particular case, you hit the main points, but I need a little more spice. And what I mean by spice, I mean, okay, anyone could say that they were a technical lead or a manager, but if all they're doing is like fixing bugs and getting other people to fix bugs, that ain't exactly sexy, right? Now, if you said, okay, there was legacy code that needed to be updated within 3 months or something like that, or scaled out immediately to prevent crashes or whatever. Okay, now we're starting to talk business. Okay, how complex were all these tasks? What was the scope? What did these projects entail? You want to give me something to probe into. And the result is twofold. One is that it matches those what's called those criteria that we outlined last time, right? The stuff of like, oh yeah, this is what L4, L5 candidate's gonna do. But it also gives you control of the conversation, because you dangle like a piece of bait that looks delicious and juicy, and the other person wants to know more. They're gonna go jump at it, and you control the conversation.
Exactly. Okay.
So it does both of those. So you want to make sure that there's some really interesting detail, something that you thought like that makes the experience go from oh okay to holy shit, I want to know more. That's what you want to do. Okay, so yeah, so dangle something. That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So in this case, what do you think that dangle would be?
Yeah, I guess I would say like what I did, right? Because right now it just says like, okay, yeah, you joined the team, but it doesn't give you anything to talk about.
Right.
So I guess I could write some features or stuff like that there. So yeah.
What makes you, if someone else walked into the room and had the exact same experience, how could you differentiate yourself from him? What is something that would? What is the dangle?
The dangle is okay, yeah, this is from experience. Yeah, the dangle is that I had joined the okay, I had joined and yeah, so I joined and I had to get up to speed and be a fully functional engineer and replace 3 engineers that had left with my experience, which was just coming into the company and learning the ropes there. Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, you could say you joined at a time when the majority of the team was leaving.
Okay.
That's that. Yeah, that you could have just said that. And then you had to become then on top of that, you had to become a technical lead of that project very quickly.
Okay, yeah, more succinct. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I described circumstances like, okay, that's interesting. The time when everyone was leaving, you joined, and then you had to become a technical lead. What was that process like? What were the projects that you took on? How did you make sure that you understood everything that you had to? Like, how did you know you weren't missing any knowledge?
Okay. Cool.
And so you want to dangle like some, that's one piece of dangle, but then you have to give me a little bit more because everyone joins during technical complexity time. But I want you to show some kind of brilliance in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I want like, come on, what do you think that would be?
Yeah. So yeah, remembering this experience, I had to dig deep into how everything worked, legacy code, how integrations with other systems worked.
Everybody does that when they deep dive. I need something more.
More than that, okay. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So upon joining this team, I noticed that there wasn't help from the other team. I noticed that engineers in our current companies, and I noticed that engineers from other teams, they kind of stayed away from this certain code base because of how complex it was. So I took it upon myself to really deep dive and learn the ins and outs.
You just notice what you just said. You're just repeating yourself. I deep dive.
Okay.
I deep dive.
Okay.
Here, let me see if I can yank it out of you. Okay, so when you deep dive, did you document everything you found?
Yes. Yeah.
Was this documentation used for onboarding other people?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
So it's like not while I deep dove, I also created the documentation for the code base, which served to help onboard other people. Perfect, right there. So not only did you deep dive, you were actually able to record all the tribal knowledge that no one else knew. Okay, interesting. Then that is now okay. So how did you know what to document? What had you not? How did you know what to omit? Why? How do you go about determining what is important for onboarding other people? And you can say something like, "Oh, if I run into the mistake or misunderstanding, that other people will run into the exact same thing." I use that heuristic to, write my documentation and make things very simple, or something like that. It's like you see how that ends up being coming differently. Ends up different.
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's one thing about like studying the code base and then becoming expertise. There's another thing about like studying the code base and multiplying your effect. And this is a great example of doing that. So, yeah, I want you to be really careful about the words that come out of your mouth because every word means something.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed how we were delivering. I'm going to go to the next one. Notice how we were delivering our customers their. Notice how we were delivering to our customers their content. What do you think I'm going to say here?
So yeah, for this, I had to change some words around to protect this. Yeah. So yeah.
No, it's just grammatical actually.
Okay. Oh, past tense. Yeah.
Well, not only that's not past tense.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard to read sentence. So.
Yeah, delivering content to our customers. I noticed that we were delivering content to our customers inefficiently. Yeah, I cut out 2 words, but now you can read this in phrases. I noticed that we were, delivering content, action to our customers, inefficiently. So you see, like how each phrase, like each words just kind of couple each other. It's very easy to read compared to like what you had before.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even speak. It's very subtle, right? All I did was I took out like or I guess how that whatever. It's like I just basically replaced the end of this, but it's actually it's still like a big difference. Like oh yeah, delivering to our customers their content was inefficient. No, I mean just kind of I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Okay, with customers wanting and expecting different things. Of course, every content wants every single content customer wants different things. So I combine all these tasks into a more simplified. The core of the problem was that we were grabbing a bunch of data, combining, updating some of the statements, and sending it off to customers. Okay, I created a design doc that would include all the features that current customers have. What? I created a design doc that would include all the features that current customers have.
Yeah. Let me rephrase this.
Yeah.
Features that customers. Yeah, that included. I created a design doc that included all the features.
I don't understand what it means. Include all the features that current customers have. Yeah, I don't understand that.
I created a design that included all the features. Yeah, this is me trying to say like what each customer has and expects from our system. I created a design that would include all the features. Yeah, I guess I created a design that included all the common features.
I still don't know. So, what are these features?
This is like yeah. So what this was like we're delivering a product to our clients. And how this was done before, it was like a bunch of scripts, like run this script for this client, run this script for this client, run this one. So every time a new client was onboarded, it was just a different script, and there was really no similarities. It was really difficult to onboard, and it was difficult to maintain
I see.
these clients.
Okay, okay, I see what I see what it is. You could have just the way I would have said this is you had to every single time a customer was onboarded to your system, you had to create a custom script for him. But there were similarities between all the customers and their scripts. So you decided to refactor the system and the scripts in order to clean up the code and to integrate new system components or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the way you describe this shit is like so wordy. I have to yank it out of you.
Okay.
So it's the thing is that the context is that every single customer has their own script. So that's why I said common features. That doesn't make sense to me. But if you said, hey, every single customer script tends to do similar things, you could say you could refactor or abstract the common requests or the common functions or some shit like that. Something like that. All right. And so now you came up with an abstract way to get clients their data. The hell does that mean?
Oh yeah. So what I meant by that is like a class was created that included various integrations with external system like encryption, email, SFTP integrations, and report generations.
Okay, so what's abstract mean?
What's abstract about it is you start with like a base class, right? And then from there you can extend it, and there's common features that the clients are going to use, like for example, send emails, right, or generate reports. So it was just a way to it was just abstracting everything into one simple base class that can be easily extendable and onboard new clients.
Okay, but the thing is that the way you grammatically said that does not reflect that. Came up with an abstract way to get clients their data. Does that make sense to you?
No.
Oh, there you go. So in other words, you basically refactored things. You refactored the code base and simplified the framework, or create a framework, whatever you want to call it, to more easily write future scripts and to clean up and unify old scripts or something like that. Basically, what you did basically tantamounts to one big refactor and creation of a framework.
Correct.
You could have just said that, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. Like when I'm reading this, it's just like
too wordy.
It's too wordy, and you're trying. And when I hear this, if someone were to talk to me like this, my bullshit meter would go off the charts. And that's something you really don't want to trigger in some people.
Okay.
The more complex you describe something that's so simple, the more bullshit we smell. That's all. That's basically how we think, or at least how I think, at least. And I get this feeling that most people think like this too. Because if you're gonna really talk about something, talk about the technical complexity of it.
Okay.
Like what is the thing that makes it like really really cool? In this case, you basically had to unify different, and you had to unify. Looking at this file storage encryption, SFT integration. You had to basically create a framework that would unify the flow of information. Or I don't fucking know how to describe that. Multiple steps, something like that. Yeah, it's hard to say what the technical complexity of this is, because if it's as simple as like refactoring code into like an abstract factory pattern or whatever fuck, that's not terribly hard, right? The thing is that now what I need to see is like what was hard specifically about this.
What was hard about this is handling all the different integrations, right? What was hard about this was getting something to the customers that they would accept and use, right? Because everyone has different wants and needs, right? So the hard part was trying to have something to base every customer off of. The reason for that was because there were so many integrations. Like there's integrations with various external systems. There's ways customers want to grab their data. There's customers that want to encrypt their data, etc. So all these things had to be considered for this to be accepted.
Okay, my question then is, well, why does refactoring your code have anything to do with the UI? Because I'm sure like the user is gonna be is the user writing scripts?
The coder, the developers are.
Oh, the developers at the company?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so your clients are actually the developers themselves.
No, sorry. The clients use our system, and we're the ones responsible to grabbing their data, massaging it, writing it to a report, and then sending it off to them, and updating various data in our system.
Okay, so who is the Who is the client again? Because I don't understand. Are they writing scripts or are they not writing scripts?
No. The client. We wrote this for all our customers. Because before, what would happen is a customer onboards us, and then we have to write a certain custom script for them to use our system.
Okay, so a customer reaches out to you, says, "Hey, I want you guys to go through this flow of grabbing some of getting an email or like uploading a file, and and they ask you to write the script for them."
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I see. See, that's important context.
Okay.
Because like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that from here? Because it again, like, imagine you're walking in, someone's walking. I don't know what you do. Give me the 30-second pitch of what you do. And it's just like, okay, well, if you just start off with that, then it's a whole lot fucking easier to understand. Like, did you run these stories by anyone before talk? Yeah, did you try rehearsing these stories with people?
No, just myself.
Yeah, holy shit, dude. Yeah. You really need to talk to. I would say try to find like one or two friends, and ask them if the stories even make sense.
Okay.
Because if they give you like the what the fuck sort of thing, then you fucked up. Okay, so in other words, now that you created the system, it made it easier for your team to onboard future customers. Because now all they do is worry about these custom components that you built. So you basically built out a framework for generating scripts more efficiently.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, you guys just fucking said that at the beginning. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm spending like fucking 7 minutes just trying to get that one sentence out of you.
Yeah.
All right. And like I said, now we need to find the technical complexity, the spice, something that makes it sexy.
Okay.
What is technically hard about this?
Yeah. What was technically hard about this was you're looking at like hundreds of scripts, right? And you're trying to boil it down all those features into one class that will satisfy everyone's needs. And also there was various integrations with like sending files to external services.
Okay, hold on. Do you notice what you just said? The first thing is like, oh, we need to satisfy everyone's needs. Of course you need to fucking satisfy everyone's needs. You know, it's like, oh, we're gonna refactor everything, but we're gonna leave 10% of our customers in the dark. That's very fucking obvious. That would not fly, right?
Yeah.
You need to give me something that's like interesting about it. Okay, let me ask. What dimensions were you scaling against? You might have come up with like some some abstraction and whatever. But the thing is that, with these interfaces, you're trying to scale against some dimension, right? It could be like, oh, we want to be able to easily integrate new email services like Google, Yahoo, Facebook, not Facebook, but you get the idea. Like all the different email services. Maybe we want to scale against that. Maybe we want to scale against the different types of storages. Maybe we want to have, we want to be able to dynamically add clusters or servers or whatever. What dimension did you scale against?
Yeah, I can't think of anything for that. Because as far as like scaling adding new machines, is that what you mean by this?
No. So I'm talking about architecturally. So let's say you have like some interface or some factory pattern, right? Usually there'll be like some objects or some ideas you want to scale against. So for instance, let's say I have in this case you said email, right? So I would have like interface email server or something like that, and then I'd have like Google implements email service or Gmail implements email service. Yahoo Mail implements email service. MSN, whoever fuck uses it, it implements email service or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I mean by scaling out against a particular dimension. It means like what feature do you want to add more of? So if you said scaling out by the email, you could say we had like an email interface that we considered in order to try adding more email clients or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we want to scale out against report generation where we want to have different formats, different types of reports. So my question to you is, well, are you scaling against it? And what dimension are you scaling against?
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of scaling out the various report types, we gave the customers options to have a CSV file, have an XLS file, have like a tab separated file or a pipe delimited file.
Sure. Anything else?
Yeah.
What about your system itself? Or was it just just reports and that's it?
Yeah, it was mostly reports.
Okay, shit. Because the way you're making this sound like it's just you make it sound like a very what I call the dumb refactor, where it's like we have places where we repeated code. Let's just throw this into a function and then call that function and call it a day and then move on. You have you seen refactors like that?
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what your story sounds like.
Okay.
It didn't sound like it was a thoughtful refactor. It sounded like let's have some framework for generating code and that's it. But it didn't sound like there was any thought into how it scales better. Mm-hmm. So that's a very bad thing, actually. This would literally work against you in an interview.
Yeah.
It's like if you didn't tell me like how much thought you put into the refactor, then you basically you came across as a code monkey. Mm-hmm. That's very bad. You want to appear to be thoughtful. You don't want to be a code monkey. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely recommend you rework that story or something like that.
Okay.
Next one. Heavy depends on DevOps when onboarding some of our customers. Okay, great. Give me an example. Give me a taste. Our DevOps sources were scarce and we had to speed up this process. With the scripts that were passed on DevOps would run their... We had scripts that were passed on to DevOps and they would run them in our clients with the data they need. That our internal users update sensitive information on our website. This is better. Okay, came up with the user update secret information via UI. Okay, this is better. This is actually much better. UI for users to speed up the process. Okay, so the thing is that the way you fucking phrase this in the beginning is pretty bad. But I understand the point. Is that when you had customers, your DevOps people actually had to get the scripts from you in order to onboard the customers. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm, correct.
Okay, you could have phrased that a whole lot simpler. You guys said that we unnecessarily involved DevOps into onboarding our customers. The development team had to give DevOps scripts to onboard the customers before the customers could continue or whatever. Fuck. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said that in 2 cents or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Every single second that you talk means something. So then the reason why this existed was because you needed a good way to handle sensitive information. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, okay, that's the sensitive information. That's the dangle right there. Because privacy, it's like, let's talk about like how you handle privacy. What restraints were you under? Was it GDPR? Was it being HIPAA compliant like in healthcare or what, et cetera, et cetera. Now you can talk about, now that opens up Pandora's box. That's a good one, right? So now you came up with a user to update their secret information via the UI. So you created a way for users to directly update secret information themselves while maintaining security compliance. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Now, if you want to step this up a little bit, you could give me a little hint. So what do you think that hint would be? It's like, okay, instead of prompting me to ask, what was that UI? Instead of trying to get me... let me say that again. Instead of giving the interviewer leeway to ask you about the UI, what could you do to get him to ask you about the secret compliance? Or security compliance?
Okay, so to lead him into the talk more about the secret, Yeah, because let me see what I said here. I just said let's update secret information via the UI, maintaining the high level security. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I could have mentioned what technology I use for that. And that could have opened the discussion, right?
No, again, we don't care about technology necessarily. We care about the problem.
Okay.
We care about the problem you're trying to solve, and technology serves to fix that.
Okay.
That's see what you just said there. I want you to remember this. That thing where you said, "Oh, I can talk about the technologies I use." No. You want to talk about the problem, the technical problem that you're trying to solve, and technology tries to serve and fix that problem. Remember what I said in the system design interview? People would just throw technologies at the fucking problem and until a cohesive solution falls out, and that's a very bullshit way of doing things. This is exactly the same symptom, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, let me dazzle you with a new and shiny tech. Look at this MongoDB bullshit. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. Why are you using MongoDB to begin with?
Yeah.
That's the way you need to think about these. So, for security compliance, give me some interesting security issue that you had to deal with.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were dealing with we're dealing with information that would give someone with the wrong hands access to the SFTP servers or the SSH access of our current customers. So yeah, it was we're basically dealing with keys that would give access to someone else.
Okay, got it. How do you know that the end user, if you're going to expose the secret information to the end user, how do you know the end user is a right person?
Yeah, that's logged in all through Google SSO.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess that's a good conversation lead up, right? Like, did you do 2FA stuff like that, right?
You can talk about 2FA. You can talk about a whole bunch of different things, but I would definitely, I would say make a higher emphasis of it, because you say, oh, discuss with our VP since we were dealing with the data that could be in the hands of people. I mean, you kind of say it, but it's just like, I want you to make this more explicit. So it says, I drafted a design document. Of course you designed a draft document. You say that you, hold on. Let me write this one. I decided to come up with a way to let our users update sensitive information on our website. The risk factor or the security, hard to say the security risk factor is making sure that the other person viewing the information is the right person. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So in fact, the security risk factor or challenge is making sure. Okay. This was highly sensitive, so I had to get buy-in from our VP of engineering. How sound better?
Yeah, that's way.
And legal department. There you go, and then boom.
Compliance. Yeah.
So something about storytelling is that if you come up with a list and that's a bad way, but you want to, if anywhere you can replace and with but or therefore, it's a much better story, right? So in other words, if the way you told the story is like I wanted to create we relied on DevOps and we want to update our user sensitive information, and I wrote a script. I mean, technically those are therefores, but the way you kind of read was like and right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like, but here he says, I want to streamline our onboarding of customers, and but a lot of the information that we are deploying in our scripts is sensitive, and therefore we have a security risk factor, in order to make sure that whatever data we show on the website is shown to the right person. Because of this, I had to get buy-in from our VP of Engineering and Legal Department, or else, we would get sued if we did this wrong. And I wrote this, and after getting their buy-in, I was able to create a script and streamline the process that would change a 2-week-long process into a few minutes. That's a lot better storytelling because there's cause and effect.
Yeah.
And I think that A lot of people just try listing out and throwing a bunch of information. No. I always want people to think in terms of cause and effect. It's like have you've seen South Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I recommend watching the little documentary 7 Days to Air. They always have like a golden rule of storytelling where like everything is cause of chain and effect. So that's where this comes from. But it's a very useful tool. Okay. Business is growing. We need to hire more headcount and scale out our system. Yes. So we had to hire contractors to help facilitate the group. Therefore, we decided to hire contractors out. Okay. There was issues with releasing all our information to contractors. I came up with why was there an issue with releasing all our information to contractors?
Since we're dealing with a lot of sensitive data of customers, they weren't given full access to our code base.
Okay.
Yeah. Legal stuff.
Okay, then you could have said, however, we could not legally give every contractor full access to our code base. This made onboarding our contractors much harder since there was a possibility of them being, of them not having access to the info they needed, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a very bad fucking sentence right there. So look at our model app. I found the major pieces that could be turned into an API for external consumption and made with the behavior of our app. Okay, draft a design document, any tool needs. Back and forth, design program was approved. Of course it goes back and forth. Of course, a fucking course, that's why you present it to them. It's like you want to get their feedback.
Yeah.
The design document is approved. Of course you're not going to write it without the design document being approved.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get you're trying to tell a story, but a lot of this shit is like very fucking obvious.
It's just fluff, yeah. Okay.
As a result, we have been able to scale our headcount. Okay. So yeah. So you created an API to mask. Yeah. So you automated the process, or should I say streamline the process. Streamline the process by creating an API that would only expose certain endpoints and data to particular roles or something like that. Yeah. Roles as living product. I've been responsible for additions. Okay, cool. This is much better.
Okay.
I would say fix this shit too. And then now the dangle here is, what happens if the user requires different sets of information? How did you scale those roles?
Okay.
Something like that. Okay, so you're responsible for saying the additions, modifications, and whatnot. The other thing the interviewer can ask is like, okay, what are those additions and modifications as well?
Okay.
Yeah, and then again, you can. This is like I suspect that this is where you want to guide the conversation. So you really want to be able to. You want to be able to make sure that this is like the meat, the thing that the interviewer goes after, the dangle, right? So you might know how to rephrase this, but I think this is probably the direction you want to go.
Okay.
Okay, our product needed a way to consume recurring segments upwards of 100 million users. What the hell is it? Segments?
List of customers. Yeah.
So you need to consume a list of 100 million users. Okay, fine. This was not feasible. Well, what's the recurring thing about it?
The recurring is they come on a daily basis. They come at every 6 hours, at midnight, etc. Yeah.
I would say
so it was like the.
I would say periodically consuming a large list of 100 million customers or something.
Okay.
Yeah, one product was periodically consuming a large list of 100 million customers. Periodically, repeatedly, whatever. Recurring, it's like. It's a very different connotation attached to it. It's not feasible for a user to upload a file as big. Okay, so user can't always upload 100 million customers, but why do they need to keep uploading this? Why? Yeah, why? Why are they uploading it if they're trying to consume it? I don't get it.
So yeah, I should have talked more about the product. So we were targeting certain customers, and our users of our internal tool, they had to upload these segments or list of customers to our product. But that was not feasible because they would have to break up the files by chunks and wait hours and hours until these millions and millions of lists were uploaded.
But the thing is that why do you need to upload this? Because the product needed it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me see what else. Fuck. I had to explore different integrations to achieve that many records. What do you mean that many records? 100 million customers?
Yeah, I guess it's not just 100 million. They're coming like constantly. So yeah, let me reword this shit.
The process generated some data was to an engineer download on their Mars. Holy shit, man. Yeah. All right. Fuck. I'm writing this because this is honestly pissing me off because I. Okay. Fuck. After much deep dive, I recognize we could have a service that would check it. Once that was ready, we could transform the file circuits and after incorporating retry. Okay, so what exactly is the product? The product is just saying, "Hey, I need this file," and then on the other side, you would upload that file.
Correct, into our system, and yeah, and just get it as fast as possible to on our site.
A product needed to periodically consume a updating list of 100 million users from a file. The team would need to manually break up the data and upload the file themselves. Right? And then this took a long time and was inefficient. I created a way of automating this upload by and then I add some spice here, which would be the service would break apart a file and upload them in parallel. Well, once the file was ready, the service would notify the product. Once the file was ready, upload them in parallel. Once the file was ready, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's pretty much. I don't know if the service is ready. We were able to scale this out to XYZ. This is the way I would probably say what you're doing.
Yeah. Cool.
Like I like the way how many words did I use? Let's see. Total word count. 78 words. I said exactly what you did in 78 words, and you probably took. Let's see. Let's see how long you took. Should I say the exact same thing? Yeah, over twice the amount. That's out to XYZ. That's out to XYZ, and then you give me some numbers for it, and then you could talk about like the incorporating retry logic and fault tolerance as well. Once the file is ready, service would notify the product. Some of the issues we faced mostly revolved around retry logic, fault tolerance, and and etc. or something like that. You can fill it in, right? But this is your dangle right here. I understand what you're doing. I understand why you're doing it. And now it's like, oh, we can talk more. This is the area that you want to lead me into.
Okay.
And then, of course, then you attach a result to it. Okay. But yeah, like, I don't think people can you speak 162 words in 30 seconds? Jesus Christ.
No.
Yeah, I'm like, did you even, like, so to me, like, when you wrote this, did you even try it? Did you even try?
I was reading it out loud and typing it, and also I reviewed it. But no, I didn't time myself.
Yeah, because like you reviewed it, but it's like there's a lot of issues. So I'm like thinking, did you time yourself, and did you like even try testing it with like other people or something? So it's like it didn't really make much sense to me. So okay, whatever. I noticed that our data was outdated since jobs that grabbed the data took hours to complete. Seeing how many customer complaints about inconsistent data that was sent to them, I started to see the fuck. See how we grab. Okay. I started experimenting. I found all the stale data that was complained about could grab it. I incorporated this data to our segment ingestion. And since we retrieved this data while sending to scale out the millions of API calls, I took advantage of it. Async calls in. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Up here, I wrote the gist of it. I'm gonna rewrite this. It's like bring product info that was stale. I used an API to bring it into a cache, and while we're sending out data to the customer, we would grab it from the cache, and this is how we were able to achieve close to real time as possible data.
Okay, so you basically implement a caching mechanism.
The problem here was we were sending out various data to customers that was stale because an external team had to run various jobs. Then we would bring all that into our site, but these jobs were like a day old or 12 hours. So when we were sending it out to the customers, they would complain that the data was stale. So what I did was I found the API that the front end website used. I got access to that, and I brought all those. I brought all that information into a cache database. So when we would send out to the clients, I would ping the cache database because we didn't have direct access to the actual API.
Yeah, like I said, you built a caching mechanism.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Like what you said in like, I don't know, God, no, 2 minutes. I said in like 10 seconds. Like what the fuck was like? I get you're trying to add context to it, but you could have just said a lot of the data that we were sending clients was stale because it took a few hours. Because the data we generated took a few hours. The jobs that generated the data took a few hours, right? So we built a caching mechanism. So that way the users would be able to get the data sooner. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
To scale out to millions of API calls, I took advantage of async calls and multi-threading to speed up the insertions in the database. Okay. The second thing is that you probably also could have said you made the calls to the database parallelized or some shit like that.
Okay.
You parallelized the calls to the cache database as well. Okay, now we can start getting into the nitty-gritty stuff of it. Like, okay, what did parallelizing the calls to the database look like? Why was there technical complexity? What cache? I would assume this is like Redis or some shit like that.
Yeah, a Redis cluster.
Okay, so yeah, you set up a Redis cluster, and configured it, set up parallel calls to it.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now you can. That's something to talk about. Now you actually have real fucking experience with actual system design components.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
So
you integrated Redis into your fucking entire system. Of course, if you wanted to go by the rule of okay, don't say technology, you could say cache a database in memory, and it wouldn't change much. So yeah, and then now the juicy dangle there would be okay. Well, what was the difficulty in configuring and setting up Redis?
Yeah. The difficult part was the difficult part was making sure that it scaled after this was implemented, because after it was deployed, we noticed some issues on the Python side.
Mm-hmm.
So that had to be multi-threaded to achieve this.
Okay.
To achieve the high insertions into the Redis database.
Got it. Okay, so high insertion. All right. So in the interest of time, I want to do like a mock question because the last 10 minutes, I think you're starting to see where I'm going with this. For at least for the last two the last two ones, I think you know what my common complaints are, and I think you could I think having gone through this exercise and going back and forth, I think you know how to fix these. So let's do this. I'm going to give you like a random Amazon behavioral question, and I want you to try taking one of these stories. Don't do it from memory. Feel free to like look at your stories that you've written, and then try to do the exercise that I mentioned before, where it's like, okay, massage the story to meet my questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's bring up the Amazon leadership principle interview questions. I'm just gonna pick a random one from interview kickstart. Okay, random one. Tell us about a time when your role in a project resulted in the client being completely satisfied.
excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead. Take your
Okay,
time.
so
Pretend we're not doing it on the fly. Pretend that
okay.
I gave you like a time stop. Yeah. Oh God, what the fuck is Yeah. Just pretend I allowed you to have a device that magically stopped time, and you had as much time as you wanted to think about how you wanted to answer the question.
Okay. 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 So tell me about a time when something that you did resulted in the client being happy or the customer, right?
Being completely satisfied. Yeah. Take your time. Think about what you want to say.
Okay. So one quick question is
Okay.
when you're talking about these, how much context should I give before I started going into like deep diving into this?
Well, the thing is that so let's take the 30-second version, right? The thing is
Mhm.
that is the context.
Okay. Okay.
And then but the thing is that what you focus on may differ, may change a little bit, right? Because you're going to
Okay.
want to tie it back to the question eventually.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead. Pick one of the stories that you think is best suited for this. I mean, I can already think of one. And then I want you to be able to tie it. And I want you to and also in a way that makes me interested.
Okay, so okay, so let me let me. Okay, let me give this a shot. Okay, okay. We had built a platform that was used to email. Oh, hold on. Let me try again.
Yeah, remember these 30-second stories should have been well rehearsed.
Yeah, yeah. We had built a platform that was similar to MailChimp, where our current customers could send off email campaigns to various of their customers. So, being that our users weren't that technical, there was a lot of HTML that they had to edit for recurring campaigns. So, what it introduced was an HTML editor tool, so they can just drag and drop icons onto their screen, so they could reduce their errors. Yeah, that was bad.
Remember, these things have to be rehearsed. Did you rehearse them?
No.
So what's the point of doing the exercise if you're not going to rehearse them?
Yeah. So yeah, I just wrote them down and then I read them to myself. But no, I should rehearse these.
Yeah, it's like you're just doing this. Like I said, this is. I think I've seen this before. It's just you're doing the exercise for the sake of doing the exercise, not because you think it's going to benefit you. That's really bad. So I want you. Let's craft this, right? So MailChimp, right? You come up with a service for MailChimp, and you wanted to streamline the experience of creating an email campaign, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the and the customers. Did the customers want this? And what was the reception? Hello?
Yeah. So the reception was that clients did not have to worry about writing actual HTML code or editing it. So they were able to just click and drop various icons onto the screen. And as a result, there were no errors when the campaigns were sent out.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I would say you reduce the technical complexity for users to send out email campaigns.
Who were not technical.
Yeah. So you satisfied the customer. You were able to increase the impact of your product by appealing to a whole new client base who are not technically inclined.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's fine because, like, technically challenged people would want to fucking use your product, but it struggled. You could even if you thought about it a little bit more. I think you could start off with that. One group, you could start off the story with just that, like our technically challenged clients want to use our service, but they couldn't, and so we streamlined that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's completely fine. And so you created a app that would allow users to drag and drop email campaign components. Mm-hmm. That's perfectly valid. That's a good answer. And I think if you rehearsed it would take 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, like I said, the reason why I make you do these 30-second ones is so that way you actually have something going in. And it's really important. It's this isn't just like a disposable exercise, because if you don't practice it, it doesn't stick with you. It doesn't stick with you. You don't bring it in to game day. You don't bring it to game day. You're just fucking shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know anyone who's won like a NBA championship not practicing.
Yeah.
Unless you're Michael Jordan or some shit. I don't know. Maybe Jordan could do it, but yeah, you get my point. So it's really important that you practice these. And anyway, Amazon's tomorrow. Not much we can do. Try to pick like one or two that you can commit to memory and roll off the top of your tongue.
Yeah. So the interview does start a little late, so I'll be able to rehearse this and watch this replay.
Yeah, pick one or two that you can really get nailed down in 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And just kind of play out that. The rest are just kind of have the ad lib, but all right.
Okay.
All right, that's it. Any final questions?
I had a quick question. You know how you said for me to write the ELI down before I do my idea and code, right?
Yeah.
When I say that to the interviewer, do you want me to also discuss the inefficiencies and how it can be optimized, or does that come later?
You don't need to keep writing them down. It's just that all these are just exercises to make sure that you are thinking in that particular pattern, right? So, for instance, if you gave me a question, I would say, okay, the most obvious naive solution I can see is XYZ, right? I probably wouldn't necessarily write that down unless it was very long and complicated and I lost myself. But in 99% of the cases, the naive solution should not, right? It should be naive, super easy, simple to do, right? Yeah, and so, then you can say, okay, the thing that is wrong with this, or the inefficiency, is I'm doing X, Y, Z. And so then from there on, you can start fleshing out and, start writing shit on the board and on all that good stuff. But the leading should be very easy, very simple, very easily understood, and remember, every single step should be logical. If you feel like you are losing yourself, or you can't remember some things, or you feel like your idea is a little bit too complicated, then start writing shit down. Mm-hmm. But when in doubt, write it out.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Cool. Nope, that's it, man.
All right, sounds good. All right, yeah. Good luck with Amazon tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, any questions from the crowd about what you just saw? Going once, going twice. All right, cool. I guess that's it for tonight. All right, thank you all for joining me. We will be back here Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. For his follow-up, so hopefully we'll get some signal about how he did on Amazon. So thank you everyone for joining me. If you need coaching, book me for interview coaching at eChanTech.com. Link in the description down below. You can also join me on Discord, where I'll answer your questions. I'm pretty active on there. Other than that, have a good night all. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all later.